Welcome to the freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Oh, hey folks, dude here yet again, narration of Dude After Dark. Of course, hopefully everything is working better. I've been playing around with hopefully a decent microphone setting. Hopefully the background noise is not just noise, and hopefully it's sounding somewhat adequate, shall we say. All right, so looking at the room, waiting for my old new laptop to reboot. Currently looking at the room, currently have the chat room going, all the rest of the good stuff like that there. Getting ready to roll into a new year. Martinez Sasquatch just on the mark as usual. Dude, you are just... I don't know about that splat part, sound guy, but he's definitely here, and he's ready for, well, stuff.
Come on, squeal. But I pooped from there.
Okay, I don't think he's looking for that. Hopefully sound is not going to be so terrible. I noticed it was really what's called to as clipping, where it's just everything is just too much and the microphone's going, yeah, I'm gonna throttle that back. So while I was about here, for some reason, some aspects of the sound, it was just like, way over peaking, and the microphone was like, nah, I'm gonna fix this. So what it did was it literally hit a theoretical maximum. It said cut off everything after that. So it starts like, kind of doing this chattering thing where it loses the high parts of the volume level. It just literally filters out. So anyway, by doing that, it just doesn't like what I'm doing because I'm being probably sound guy. No, I'm not being
Yippee-ki-yay.
I'm not being yippee-ki-yay, dickhead. Stop that. Anyway, so looking at stuff as it is, Squatch reads you 5x5 and keeps railroad time. All right, good stuff like that there. Let's just jump immediately into the scheme of things. Let me lose that tab because I just don't need it. It's just accessory folderol where I was talking with this dude about something. It's just like, hey, take a look at this. And then I'm like, what's this extra tab for? It's too much. So Squatch, if you can let me know, like, where I'm at in terms of volume level for like voice versus sound, because I noticed sound last time was just it was all over the place. It was just some of it you could hear, some of it couldn't hear, some of it was just like wiping me out, and of course the microphone's just going I don't know what to do. So I did do a secondary setting on the back of the thing. So literally on the microphone, I told it now to listen to different areas and not just go everything from the front. So hopefully it's now listening ambiance wise to more of a back and front type of thing and not just getting sound guy. It is not getting it's not getting that. It's not getting snoo. Stop that. It's getting sound guy. It's not getting any of that. Wow. Dickhead, snoo. Sound guy, what are you doing? Stop that. Okay, stop. Critical stop. Okay, stop that. Okay, it's fine. We're fine. Okay. Really? No, you do not get a chime for that, okay? No, that was weak. That was pretty bad, okay? That was not worthy of what you just ascribed us to have. And no, stop. He's going through the list, folks. Okay, anyway, let's go into the stock of stuff. Another tab I got to close. Let's see. Scrolly. Like I've said before, Facebook is really, truly not the best means of storage medium if you're trying to go back and look at stuff and you're trying to stay, well, I'm trying to stay somewhat abreast of what I did previously, and it's just really not a good medium. Hope you guys had a good Christmas. That is obviously falling into the past, and good stuff like that there. So let me scroll. There is some seriously funny stuff going on with the guys on the other side of the aisle. Let's just say that they are experiencing more than a little bit of, well, yes. They're experiencing some extreme fact check. And really, it's just going to be costing them a bad amount of, it's not working out for them. So how can you say it is working out for them currently on the Democrat side of the aisle? It is more than a little bit,
enough is enough. I have had it with these motherfuckers on this motherfucking plane. Everybody strap in. I'm about to open some windows.
Cats on a plane. Okay, sound guy, I really don't think it's cats on a plane. No, you do not get a ding. You do not get a ding for pulling that one, all right? That's no. That was not it, okay? No, it's no. Sound guy, I really don't know where you're going with this one, okay?
Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face. What? Did you do that? I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
You dick.
Now you farted on Marvin. Okay, stop, sound guy, just all stop, okay? All stop. Stop button, all stop. Pedro Fever in the room, appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. Good stuff like that there. Let's see. Only real story at the moment is when the Twin Cities. Yeesh. Man, you look at like some of this Minnesota stuff going on right now and other blue hotbeds, and they're kind of going subnuclear, and it's really kind of interesting to watch these guys going, oh, no, we know exactly how to run our cities. Yeah, it's just it's literally just a firestorm happening, and these guys are doing it themselves, and
Oh my.
yeah, it's bad. Well, it's bad for them, but it's amusing for those not in those areas to watch, to go, well, we told you it was going to happen. The foregone conclusion is when you run stuff very, very blue, where your budgets are completely just fakaka-dootied, you're letting the bad guys run amok, you're chasing off the cops, you're basically telling the teachers you just have to deal with a-holes. Sorry. All these things compound when people are just going, you know what? Thor's hammer. I'm out of here. And they're bailing out. Case in point, California is losing people like crazy. I do have a rather interesting news story about that one coming up later on, so stand by on that one. And it is quite elevated in its reality of, oh, my stars and garters, these guys are really trying to hose me. You know, so even the rich guys are going, dude, no. Not failed it, bailed out, get out, because the getting is good. Just give me 1 second here. I've had better cups, but it's hot. All right. So anyway, scrolly. This, I cannot begin to tell you how much this TDS stuff is going on, and it's, well, to use the Clint Eastwood line in The Rookie, this is going on, and I'm F-chucking liking it. And he didn't say F-chucking. Anyway, what's going on now is there's a breaking news story going in, and it's coming from the news guys themselves. So significant amount of the CBS News geeks are going, I'm going full TDS, and I'm considering quitting. Why? Because they feel the company has now become pro-Trump. I'm sorry. I have never seen CBS do anything pro-Trump anything. If they seem to be actually doing neutral, simply informative newscasting, sure. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for simply telling us, dog bites man, not something along the lines of dog bites man. The dog was black, so everybody's racist against the dog. We don't need to know these things, okay? Dog bites man. That's the whole story. We don't need you to put your spin on it going, well, this dog had a really hard life, and he was so disaffected that he saw that this white guy was walking down the street and said, you know what? Time to even things up, and I'm going to have some racial intervention upon this guy's buttocks. That is not news, okay? That is you putting your slant, template, and other means of motivation upon a previous news story and giving it your little to say, this is how things are. And that's not even quoting Walter Cronkite. That's just you putting your own 2 cents in there going, this is how things are the way that we see it. Well, I don't care how you see it, but frankly put, you guys truly putting your spin on things is not reporting the news. I did hear some time back, and I forget where the actual sourcing on this was, but they did an interview with people in journalism school, and they asked them, so why do you want to get into journalism? And they said this almost just generically as a whole answer to the group. We want to affect change and fix things. That's not your job, dude. Your job is to stand out there with the camera and go, okay, this took place, that took place, all these other things took place, and oh yeah, this is how it happened on this day. This is the news. Back to you, Barb. That's your job. Not going, oh, these people are so disaffected because they happen to be a certain racial stripe or color or this, that, and the other thing, or no, that's not your job. Your job is to simply go, dog bites man, not the racial profiling, not the social construct they're in. That is not your job. So for these guys to be kirking out completely and having a brain full of TDS, that would be Trump derangement syndrome, mind you, losing it completely, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that you're not reporting the news. You're trying to, air quotes, affect change. That's not reporting the news. Let's see. Scrolly. Let's see. I got so I've been having a lot of fun with memes, so I got a lot of content. So, some of them are actually really funny. Unfortunately, they really don't translate to audio visual type of interaction. So I got to be careful too, because there's some people that come on here and they just flagrantly throw all kinds of language and whatnot. So even though I don't click the tab or the button or whatever you would call it, excuse me one second here. The setup precursors to doing a live cast on YouTube, one of them is this made for children under the age of so-and-so? I never click that, because if you do click that, it puts some kind of interrogatories upon like the algorithm, changes the way it interacts on YouTube, and obviously goes, hey kids, look, here's a video that you can watch. I don't do that, okay? I simply I self-censor, as it were, my verbiage. I try to keep it G-rated. Obviously, sometimes a little bit, air quotes, risque, but I tongue-in-cheek, and I try to keep it sort of clean. Edward R. Murrow will be spinning in his grave by now, according to Martina Sasquatch. Dude, yeah. Even it could be just blatantly said that Walter Cronkite was not a conservative, okay? He was probably a fairly socialist, leftist, liberal type of sort, but it didn't come in on the news. When he reported the news, that's the way it is. He was literally just, this is it. This is the news story. He wasn't adding his own little to, try to stick it to the man or try to hose the Republicans or try to go after conservatives. If anything, he was pretty much middle of the road, and I'm sure some of his contemporaries like, dude, no, you really could get in some good swipes here. And he was like, yeah, but that's not the news. The news is what we're reporting as to what happened. That's the news. That's our job. Not the fluffing, buffing, and adding our little nuances in there to kind of stick it to the other side of the equation, as it were. That's not our job. Anyway, so scrolly. There is a person on a Facebook page, and it's actually a pretty good page. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be steered towards it, being a Israel supporter and whatnot. But the website, or the Facebook page. Sorry, I always get those little nuances screwed up. But the page is called Jews Can Shoot, and it's a pro-gun Jewish page on Facebook. So there is a person on there by the name of Chelsea Simone, who is a trauma provider. And she states it simply as this: I've served as a trauma provider for 2,517 days. In that time, I've thrown out 6 pairs of blood-soaked shoes, gone through more sets of scrubs than I can count. I've seen pints of blood lost, pints of blood given. I've treated gunshot wounds of every kind, accidental, intentional, self-inflicted, across a range of calibers. I witnessed the loss of limbs, loss of life, alongside miraculous survivals and outcomes that did not end the way we had hoped. What continues to surprise people is the confusion and sometimes disbelief when I tell them I am also a lawful gun owner. Despite everything I've seen, despite everything I've treated, the fact seems to challenge assumptions in a way few others do. I was sent this write-up over a decade ago, titled "The Gun is Civilization," Major L. Caudill, retired USMC, and it bears truth today. Human beings only have 2 ways to deal with one another: reason or force. Reason and force. If you want me to do something for you, you have the choice of either convincing me to via argument or force me to do your bidding under a threat of force. Every human interaction falls in one of those 2 categories, without exception: reason or force. That's it. It is truly moral. In a truly moral and civilized society, people exclusively interact through persuasion. Force has no place in a valid method of social interaction, and the only thing that removes force from the menu is a personal firearm, as paradoxical as it may sound to some. When I carry a gun, you cannot deal with me by force. The gun is the only personal weapon that puts a 100-pound woman on equal footing with a 220-pound mugger, a 75-year-old retiree on equal footing with a 19-year-old gangbanger, and a single guy on equal footing with a carload of drunken guys with baseball bats. The gun removes the disparity in physical strength, size, or numbers between a potential attacker and a defender. There is plenty of people who consider the gun a source of bad force equations. These are the people who think that we'd be more civilized if all guns were removed from society, because a firearm makes it easier for a quote-unquote armed mugger to do his job. That, of course, is only true if the mugger's potential victim are mostly disarmed after either by choice or by legislative fiat. It has no validity when most of the mugger's potential marks are armed. Muggers don't do really good in Florida for exactly that reason. When I carry a gun, I don't do so because I'm looking for a fight, but because I'm looking to be left alone. The gun at my side means I cannot be forced, only persuaded. I do not carry because I'm afraid, but because it enables me to be unafraid. I do not limit the actions of those who would interact with me through reason, only the actions of those who would do so by force. It removes force from the equation. That's why carrying a gun is a civilized act. To which I would simply add the addendum: an armed society is a polite society. Let's see. Scrolly. I cannot begin to tell you just how crazy this Minnesota stuff is. And I have a couple stories going to it. However, it has gotten from, first off, complete and total just shock. Okay, I don't know how shocked that is, sound guy, but everybody was pretty much just going, what? Yeah, and they were really not happy hearing about the numbers involved when you hear about just how much fraud is going on in Minnesota with all the imported Somalis, and the fact that, well, Waltz allowed it to have happen and might have even had something to do with it. So, was that a swing and a miss there, Governor Waltz? No, I think he's going to be marching straight into a bad case of he's kind of done this to himself and he's allowed it to have happen. Yeah, that's him marching into the bad case of what are you doing, sound guy? Stop. Oh, jeez. Anyway, so this bit of okay, that was actually good, sound guy. Thank you. Yeah, that this piece of yes. All the Somali, yeah, Governor Waltz, on all of it is this large stinking piles of stinking, hairy, nasty piles of. Thank you, sound guy. So Pam Bondi's gotten into it now, and it's going to get very interesting very quick here. So, coming in from Breitbart.com, Pam Bondi, 85 Somalis are charged, 60 people are guilty in Minnesota fraud. And that's not like a pool player, you know. Hey, Minnesota fraud's coming up on the table. Yeah, Patriot Fever, you're absolutely right there. That is a lot of cheddar in Omar's district. Ilhan Omar, you might have some things to answer up on that one. Give me 1 second here. Goosey sound guy. It doesn't take much to goose sound guy. He's ready to oh, here you go. Sound guy getting goosed along.
Spicy.
Yeah, anytime I set microphone in front of sound guy or you know, soundboard in front of sound guy.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Oh, absolutely.
And I can't get up.
Yeah, I could say something. I really could, but I shall defer to the G rating, the holy G rating. Yeah, I try to stay very much on the, you know, the holy G rating. Why? Because, well, you got to be, well, you can't be too outrageous, or, well. Yes, thank you. You can't do it, all right?
You're despicable.
Okay, can we pause for 1 second, sound guy? He is on the soundboard tonight. Wow. Just wow. All right. So anyway, let's see. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced on Monday that 85 Somali nationals have been charged with regarding ongoing fraud taking place in Minnesota, with more prosecutions coming. Jeez. Wow.
Death.
Yeah, death by Poltergeist was only PJ from the player. Well, geez, yeah, Poltergeist was strange movie. I remember seeing that back in the day, and we were all like, dude, these special effects are like so tubular, man. Well, I don't know if we were saying tubular. I don't know if we were saying excellent, but we were like, wow. Yeah, back on VHS, yeah, no, it was, well, yeah, it was it was the stuff. Oh, stop. I'm not that old, okay? No, I'm not that old, okay? The 80s essentially was me coming out of school, me in my 20s. It wasn't like I was that old. I'm not that long in the tooth. Stop that. Anyway, so a post on X, Pam Bondi praised citizen journalist Nick Shirley. This guy, man, you want to talk about somebody that pulled the cat out of the bag? Sound guy. No. You are not going to get credit for that one. No. Oh, you you cut the cat out of the bag. You dick. Wow. You dick. Man. Mm.
Dick.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. You
Dick.
Yeah. You doing? Mm.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert!
You dick.
Okay. Stop. Button's been engaged. Stop. Jeez. All right. So Nick Shirley, that dude really pulled back the curtain on the so he really let the cat out of the bag. Anyway, so reporting which showed Americans the scale of the fraud taking place in Minnesota under Governor Tim Walz. Doing the Rod Carson thing there. Doing Tim Walz. Just give me a second here. I don't know if you guys get him where you're at, but Rob Carson's on Newsmax. He's a radio host. He's on numerous, AM stations. He always keeps blowing his horn about this one, but he actually did work as like a comedy writer for Rush Limbaugh back in the day. Met the guy once. He's like friends of a friend, and so that's the notable brush with some notoriety that I had recently. Anyway, so scale fraud. So at Nick Shirley work. Oh, so at Nick Shirley's, it's like a lot of Y's after the end. So at Nick Shirley's work has shown America the scale of fraud in Tim Walz's Minnesota. Bondi said, at the Justice Department has been investigating this for months. So far, we have charged 98 individuals, 85 of them Somali, and more than 60 have been found guilty in court. Okay, this is not a small thing, folks. We have more prosecutions coming. Buckle up, lawmakers, Bondi added. Bondi's post came after Shirley released a video showing him visiting several daycare centers in Minnesota, which were reportedly receiving millions of dollars in federal aid, despite them being no signs of children in the locations. My favorite one, and this is something that's been out there and kind of being jeered at, but you see the sign up above the daycare place, and it says the Leering Center, even though it's supposed to be learning. Well, they turned into such a meme on the internet. They were like, ah! And they literally fixed the sign to say the Learning Center. So it's now been such a joke that these guys have been going, hey, you doofuses can't spell, that they really, truly were kirking hard. Okay, Patriot Fever, yeah, I know Raiders of the Lost Ark was 13, okay? But you got to remember, PG-13, you can drop the F-bomb once, and you can say the S word a bunch of times. So you S hitters are being, S hitting, and watch out for the S hit. If you step on the S hit and those S hitters, you can eat a pile of S hit, and watch out for you F chuckers. Oh no, we only said it once. But yeah, they can say the F word once. So it's kind of like one of those running joke things, like Scott Adams keeps going on about, like Trump knows how to cuss because it really applies it in the best places. When he throws an F-bomb, it's because it really truly fits where he dropped the F-bomb. Same could be said for JD Vance when the people were ragging on his wife, and he's like, yeah, well, you guys can eat S hit. That was like perfect. Yeah, thanks, sound guys. Thanks. That was like perfect placement. You guys can eat S hit. Stop. Sound guy.
You dick.
Are you done?
What?
I think you're done, okay? No, I hit the stop button and he got that last one in there, okay? Stop it. Star crap. Okay, well, anyway, stop. I'm hitting the stop button. Stop. Jeez. You stop. All right. So anyway, Breitbart reported on one of the daycare centers, Shirley visited, Edwin misspelled the word learning as leering. Nick Shirley visited the Quality Learning Center in South Minneapolis, reporting that the learning center hadn't even spelled its name correctly on the sign, with learning misspelled as leering. As the citizen reporter approached the facility, an unidentified woman yelled, "Don't you open up!" incorrectly claiming Shirley and the man with him was Immigration and Customs Enforcement. There's no one here, Shirley said on the video. Federal Bureau of Investigation Director Kash Patel previously stated the agency is aware of recent social media reports in Minnesota, adding that even before the public conversation escalated online, the FBI had surged personnel and investigative resources to Minnesota to dismantle large-scale fraud schemes exploiting federal programs. Okay, well, obviously the cat's out of the bag, and if these Somali guys were smart, they'd say, you know what, just give me a plane ticket back to Somalia and don't chuck my skinny butt in jail. Just give me 1 second here. And that's the other thing, too, is like now the memes are being absolutely freaking brutal. It's like, how'd you know I was Somali? And then they like put up this caricature of what a Somali looks like. And then they show the guy's picture next to it. It's like, dude, one of these things is really cut out somewhat like the other. Martinez Sasquatch, PG-13 allows for 1 F chuck per script. Now cry havoc and let slip the hamsters of war. Well, it's only if it has Richard Gere in it would you let the hamsters of war let loose. With that culture, leering. Oh, jeez. Leering was in the curriculum, Martinez says. Vance is going to have fun suing all the people, implying him and Erica are an item. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's bad. Hey, Living for Jesus Mother 2. How you doing? Appreciate you coming on by again. Let's see. Scroll. What is the topic tonight? Pretty much theft taking place in Minnesota. How many times you could say the naughty words in PG-13 movies? Gavin Newsom, maybe? Yeah. Let's do that. I'm gonna simply call this one. Excuse me, the nose is bugging me again. I'm simply gonna call this one "Big Money Go Bye Bye." Yeah, this one coming in from Breitbart.com. California being the money-grubbing black hole of funds and horrible execution therein of its public dole, and that's being generous. They have really possibly stepped in it this time. How bad did they do? Well, it might just be. No, it sounded like it was more. Yeah, it was like that. California stepped in the big pile of doo-doo. Yeah, thank you. Coming up from Breitbart.com, tech founders slam proposed California wealth tax and warn of potential exodus. So let's break down exactly how this thing works. So beyond the fact that they're getting hit with federal tax, income tax, state tax, all the rest of these taxes, they're now selling themselves as these. Give me 1 second here. I have to attend with a cat. One of my cats, if he gets a hold of a paper bag or cardboard or something like that, it becomes a plaything for the next how long it survives until he rips the thing to literal shreds. I had to take it away from him, or you would have heard nothing but him just rustling in the background. Anyway, so they basically get hit with all these taxes. California is really expensive to live in the first place. A 1,200 square foot bungalow is like $1.5 million right now. So you basically get this little dinky house with a little grass strip around it, barely enough backyard to even qualify as having like a fire pit, maybe 10 of your friends over. Redonkulous. Hardly any parking. And of course, you're still being outstripped by all of your income taxes, literally just left, right, and center. So what they're imposing now in their wondrous thinking they're in of how to extract the maximum amount of hurt to everybody, air quotes, equally. what they're going to do is they're going to try to get 1% of the value of a billionaire to then get put into the state coffers. Now, mind you, this is money that they've already paid tax on. It's money they've already possibly invested in things, money that potentially they don't even have. Because I remember one time they did an interview with Donald Trump, and they were like, "So, how much are you worth?" And he goes, I don't know. Ask my accountant. I mean, it varies from day to day. I'm not fully liquid. It's invested in certain ways. It's reinvested in other ways. Obviously, the stock market has its ebbs and flows. Yeah, I don't honestly know." And the reporter goes, "Surely you have a better answer to that." And he goes, "No, that is my answer." So anyway, what they're thinking of doing is they're trying to extract 1% from these billionaires to then throw into the state coffers, because why? Oh yeah, California can't keep their budget adequate because they keep spending too much money on stupid stuff. Ugh, just a bunch of, just bad execution all the way down the road. And anytime you throw money into the coffers of California, it's just gonna go poorly. So, what do you think's gonna happen when they institute this thing, sound guy? Yeah. they're gonna execute their own state budget. Okay. Thanks, sound guy. They're gonna execute their own state budget. Yeah, it's not gonna be good. It's just gonna go yeah, it's not gonna work well. So anyway, they warn of the potential exodus from these really, really rich guys. So, coming into the news story, it says proposed wealth tax targeting billionaires in California sparked intense pushback from tech founders in the state, with some preparing to leave if the tax becomes law. Prominent conservative tech entrepreneur Palmer Luckey explains, "One market correction, nationalization event, or the prohibition of divestiture, not all that uncommon during wartime, and I am screwed for life." Okay, well, you're not exactly broke, dude. I think you'll find some way to manage. So Fortune magazine reports that the proposed wealth tax aimed at billionaires in California has yet to qualify for the state's ballot, but has already triggered a wave of criticism from tech founders who warn of potential consequences. Translation: you do this, I'm out. I'm going to go to Texas. I'm going to go to some other state that's charitable and wants me to be there and says, "Hey, man, come here. We will work with you. We'll give you potentially tax credits. We'll make it easy for you to slot your business in here." Why? Because Texas is looking ahead, going, if all these companies are here and they're all working with one another, what's going to happen to the rest of Texas? It's going to flourish. And the dirty little secret is, if you know the geography of Texas, it is very unique. One, they have their own power grid. As long as they don't do stupid green energy stuff, they're really, really well, because they have their own oil. So they have their own power grid. They have their own seaports. They are a border to a foreign nation. They're way, way ahead of the curve technologically than way more states. And if you come right down to it, for them to have a whole bunch of AI nodules and a whole bunch of other stuff cranking up, they got plenty of space. It's not that they're going to try to do this stuff going, all the NIMBYs said they don't want a power plant here that's going to be powering this AI power slave that's going to be sucking down tons of juice. They literally can do this thing out in the middle of Nowheresville where it disturbs nobody. So let's see. The proposal, which calls for California residents worth more than $1 billion to pay a one-time tax equivalent to 5% of their assets over 5 years, has prompted some high-profile tech figures to reconsider leaving the state. I don't know why you even consider or reconsider. You would just leave the state. If they even threatened that, I would leave the state. There's no way in the world you would hold that crap over my head going, "Ooh, scary moment, dude. If we get this, we're going to cash in." If they even threaten that, I would be out the door with like my tail feathers are on fire. And I would make it so public that I was leaving that they would know why I left, how I left, who came with me, and where I set up afterwards, and how long it took me to get from point A to point B to say, I'm not playing games with you guys anymore. You politicians want way too much. Your greed is overarching, and I'm just not dealing with it any blanking longer. Done with it. According to New York Times, conservative venture capitalist Peter Thiel, I think he was like a notable for like PayPal or something like that. I forget where he is, but he's like, really, really notable guy. Google co-founder Larry Page are among those looking into relocating in case the tax becomes law. I wouldn't even be like thinking about it. I would be out the blanking door now. Representative Ro Khanna, Democrat, California, who represents part of Silicon Valley, drew attention to the story on X and echoed President Franklin Roosevelt's sentiments, saying, I will miss them very much. You're not going to miss them at all. You're basically going to go, my county isn't worth jack. That's how you're going to miss them. It's because you're going to have no freaking money. Ugh. Yeah. Commenters were quick to point out that Khanna previously opposed taxes on unrealized capital gains. So essentially, please don't zap these guys because they're going to roll out. Yeah, if you screw with the rich guys, the rich guy threat is I don't deal with you any longer. I leave. That's a rich guy threat. Not a poor guy threat, but a rich guy threat because they can bring it into fruition and reality. Khanna's support for the wealth has unleashed a flood of negative reactions from the tech community. Palmer Luckey, co-founder of the defense tech startup Anduril, warned that the tax would force founders to sell significant portions of their companies to pay for quote-unquote fraud, waste, and political favors to organizations pushing the ballot initiative. He expressed concern that he and his wealthy peers cannot come up with billions of dollars in cash to pay the tax. The state would seize their homes and garnish their wages. I would, anytime you start doing this, overarching suck the rich guy dry, bye. And I don't even just mean a little bit. I mean, bye. Like, as soon as they propose this stuff, it's like, guess what, guys? We're relocating. There's no reason for us to stay here. We're getting out before this stuff comes law, and they try to hose us down the road. That's the other thing, too, is, like, you got to remember all this thing, like, when before Trump came into office, all the foreign money that was overseas, and there's a reason why. By keeping their money overseas, they could reinvest it overseas, and they could actually make even more money. As soon as they brought it into the United States, they got hosed with taxes. So it made 0 sense to bring the money back home. They would stay profitable overseas. They would keep compounding that cash, flipping it over and over and over and over and over again, making scads of cash with way better tax rates rather than getting socked by these greedy politicians as soon as the money came back in the United States. So they just didn't bring the money back. Until such time as Trump is like, look, I want reinvestment in the United States. I want all the industry that left the United States to return to the United States. I want all the companies that said it's not good to do business in the United States because all these politicians are so damn greedy, they're taking all my money. I want you guys to come back. Hence why we've had like 11 trillion or something like some 11 or 13 trillion dollars in investment come back to the United States, including Toyota, including like other really, really big names, including like TSMC, like, the semiconductor guys are like relocating some of their stuff into Texas. Why? Because it's become advantageous to bring their money back and spend it in the United States because they're not getting taxed like crazy. Also, notice the places where they're setting up. They are not setting up in California. They are not setting up in New York. As a matter of fact, my little suck-ass state of Maryland right now has got a processing center, like AI, like power-hungry processing center setting up in Virginia. Maryland is going to get nothing out of it whatsoever. Wes Moore is like, well, for the prestige of being in the state of Maryland, you guys could set up and be close to Washington, D.C. And all the tech guys are like, I got an itch on my forehead, buddy. Oh, you see how bad the itch is on my forehead? Yeah, they were like not doing it. Or the other one, they said, oh, excuse me, do you see something in my eye? Yeah, that literally is what they are saying to them. So currently, there is a very, very high power tension line that's going from Pennsylvania, going through Maryland, winding up in Virginia to power all these AI processing nodes. Notice, It ain't making a little dog leg and stopping in Maryland. It's going through. And the people here are pissed because all the NIMBYs, or the not in my backyard guys, are going, I don't want to look up and see a high tension line going across my sky. Well, you voted for the guys that enabled that because there was no reason for that power supply to stop in Maryland and plant some AI nodes in my state. Even though we actually do have a nuclear power plant in my state. Did they stop here? Hell no. They kept on going. Why? Because it is not advantageous to operate in the state of Maryland. And why is that? Oh, yeah, because it's just a little bit too, that color. It's a little too blue. It's a little too blue for them to operate. And the politicians are absolutely not charitable to any enterprise that potentially is Longview going to actually make the state even more money if they weren't so tight-fisted from the outset. Case in point, the BWI airport, which is about 20 to 23 minutes away from my house, that thing has a big, and I don't even mean a little bit, I mean a big Southwest Airlines hub. Southwest was thinking about putting a maintenance facility into a good midpoint general area for servicing their aircraft. You know, obviously the aircraft's having problems, or it just has general maintenance, comes flying into an airport, lands, trucks on over to the maintenance facility, gets wrenched on, gets turned around, comes back out, takes off, does whatever it needs to do. So it became a pissing match between the state government and Southwest. And Southwest is like, look, Mid-Atlantic, good location. Basically you're like all the way over on one side of the country. You're right in the middle, good placement. And of course, Maryland being Maryland, they're about ready to snatch defeat from the shore jaws of victory. Said, well, what are you going to do for us? And Southwest is like, we already do a lot for you. You guys get a lot of money out of us and all of our flight practices. You make scads of cash. And they're like, yeah, well, you're going to build this here anyway. And Southwest goes, you don't understand. We're not a small company. We don't have to build it in Maryland. We can go anywhere. So it became the pissing match of back and forth. And Southwest is like, look, you're either going to do something beneficial to us, tax credits, or something, stroker poo-poos, make us happy in some way, but we're just going to go somewhere else. We don't need to construct this thing on BWI and fly the planes in. Literally, you're going into the airport. The airport really is just like a U. So it's a U, and then the piers are like fingers on your hand. So they basically stick up A, B, C, D. D is international. A and B are Southwest. So they comprise 1/8 of the airport. As you're driving up to get to departures, that first pier that's sticking out, going into the airport and going out to the jetway areas, that is all Southwest. You're pulling in, you see probably 20, if not more, Southwest planes. Then there's 2 parked on the tarmac being serviced, and then there's probably a couple other things going on as they're going in and out of the garage to get wrenched on currently. However, Maryland, being so pissy, was like, okay, we'll give you some, minuscule blah, blah, blah. And they're like, look, you guys going to make plenty of money off this maintenance facility. Jet mechanics don't make a small amount of money. You're going to make plenty of money off their income alone. You're going to work with us, or we'll just go somewhere else. And Maryland finally was like, well, it's going to be beneficial if this thing is here because the plane's going to get worked on. Okay, we'll bend over and take it. And they really didn't bend over and take it that much, but it was just enough that Southwest was like, okay, that's worthy of note. We'll consider it. Then eventually they were like, okay, we'll build the facility, but you better give us some graft, some tchotchke, some little happy stuff. So they got something. No, they didn't get that. No, they got something. Right. Okay, sound guy, I don't know what you're saying there. Were they sound guy?
Saracana?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know where you're going, sound guy. You're now going into Terminator, and that is never ever good.
Saracana?
Yes.
Reload.
You.
He's got to get at least one Terminator thing in there. I know. He just has to. Thanks, sound guy. Jeez. At least one, okay? Wow. All right, so can I please get back to where we were formerly talking about all this California crap? Anyway, one market correction is that the other thing this guy's gonna lose his shirt. So key issue raised by the tech community is how potential wealth tax may treat paper profits from stock gains and stakes in companies that have not yet gone public, which is a common form of compensation among startups that have yet to become profitable. It's on paper. They're not rich yet, dude. Figma co-founder and CEO Dylan Field pointed out that founders and potentially early employees could be subject to the wealth tax, but would not be able for the company's stock to use to pay for it. Some founders also face capital gains taxes, resulting in a double tax event. Oops. Field also highlighted the challenges founders may face if the startup is unsuccessful a year while still being liable for the wealth tax. They're going to get hit big time, and I don't even mean just a little bit. They're just going to get
You asshole.
Yeah, okay, sound guy. I don't know what you're talking about here, but they're going to get
Sarah Connor.
Yes.
They're going to get the Shartinator. Sure, thanks, sound guy. At least Terminator knows how to reload better than sound guy. Yeah, well, it happens. Oh,
Sarah Connor.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
the Pukinator. You really have to do that? Jeez. Anyway. So, yeah, he got the Shartinator and the Vominator. Let's see. Silicon Valley startups ironically follow the herd. Once enough respected companies, founders establish a pattern, other startups will follow, even if the wealth tax does not apply to them yet, Field noted on X. Yeah, I mean, another guy, David Friedberg, co-founder and CEO of Hollow Genetics, that's probably not small, argued the wealth tax amounts to, quote, organized government seizure of private property from citizens. That's very true. Who have already paid other taxes that could total 53%. So they get more than you get in California. He warned that the tax flirts with socialism. Flirts with socialism. Flirts. Sure, flirts. No, I don't think it flirts at all. I think it's back wheels deep and going for action. Yeah, you're just getting more than a little bit. You're getting it, okay? You're just getting it big time, and it's not just a little bit of socialism. You're just getting, yeah, bad. Really, really.
Death by Snoo Snoo.
No. It is not death by Snoo Snoo. It is
Death by.
You're despicable.
Yeah, death by Snoo Snoo, and that's not Snoo Snoo. No. You're gonna get it. So a slippery slope that has never gone anywhere good. The previous guy with the 53%. Gary Tan, CEO of tech startup accelerator Y Combinator, told New York Post that the wealth tax would drive capital out of the state, hurt innovation, and eventually weaken support for healthcare services. Yeah, well, once you start removing all the big tech guys, you're pretty much stuck with what you got left. The measure would cause a stampede of unicorns out of California and other states, which would then reap the benefits of entrepreneurs, technology, and jobs that California enjoys now. Okay, your guys in California, you guys are just, well, you're silly to be there in the first place, okay? If you're staying there, you are very, very silly to stay there. There is nothing holding you from just rolling out. Oh yeah, they're definitely going to get full on Kyle Reese. I mean, that's not even close to the mark of saying there's even a reason why to stay there. And if they keep doing this stuff, it's just going to blow up on them hardcore. There's no reason to be in California when they start throwing these kind of numbers around. Going, well, we're just going to hose you. Yay, you're just going to get it. Mm-hmm. Yep, you're going to get it. Yep, if you stay there and you put up with that stuff, you are just going to get the action that they're giving to you. And there's always to it. They're going to give it to you. They're just going to give it to you.
Fatality.
Yeah. Thanks, sound guy. Yeah, it's definitely going to be economic fatality. It's just huge, full on, complete, and absolute economic fatality. Yeah, thanks, sound guy.
Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face. What? You do that? I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
You dick.
Okay, well, I think we're done with that one, sound guy. I think we're done. Okay.
Fatality.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, if they do this, 53% taxes, and you get this thing thrown on top, there is no reason to stay in California. And if they do this, you need to leave. I cannot begin to tell you how much this next story tickles me in places it probably shouldn't in public. But I'm being generous here. I'm being more than generous. But the poster child of TDS herself. Excuse me 1 second here. Somebody who physically left the United States to flirt with the whole I'm rolling out because he became president, this, that, and the other thing, roddy, just moved out of country. Coming in from Breitbart yet again, that love child of TDS, Rosie O'Donnell. I wish I could say I don't think about Trump a lot, but I do. I cannot begin to tell you how much this tickled me to read this story. Schadenfreude was definitely coming into play. She's in another country. She is surrounded by people who aren't United States citizens. You would think she could just go, you know what? Let me just look at the blue sky, the green meadows, come up with something different, different state of mind. I don't think that's gonna work. Yeah, I think she's pretty much stuck hardcore into full on hate Trump. Yep, she's just stuck with it. She can't stop the whole TDS thing. How bad is it? Actress Rosie O'Donnell, who moved to Ireland earlier this year and promised her therapist she would try to go 2 days without talking about President Donald Trump, has confessed she thinks about him much more than she'd like to. Face palm, everybody. Face palm. Mutual face palming is allowed, okay? Wow. I mean, it's to the point where she's laying down in bed and she's just hearing, I'm thinking about Trump. Trump is screwing my brain. I can't stop Trump from screwing my brain. He's screwing with my brain. My brain is screwed. Oh, my brain. Oh. Trump! Anyway, so Promise the Therapist. Oh man, she's okay. I love this, folks. This is her quotes. Okay, I love this. Her quotes. Her quote. Quote. He's making crazy posts like somebody, or like someone with a temporal frontal lobe dementia and out of control. Okay, there was a statement made by somebody really, really famous on the socialist, communist, fascist side of things who said, blame the other guys for that stuff that you're doing yourself to confuse the opposition. Yes. O'Donnell said in the video posted on Saturday, before asking, when are we going to do the 25th Amendment? You massive, liberal, silly cow person. You're not even in the United States any longer. You have no bearing whatsoever. I believe, and I do believe, that she gave up and said, I am no longer a United States citizen. So, you have no voting rights. You'd have to go through the entire process yet again to come back in the country as a United States citizen. You have no thrall over the voting public of these United States in any way, shape, or form. You are a moron. Watch below is a video. Quote, he needs to be stopped. So 25th Amendment, come on, people, come on. O'Donnell continued. Quote, I wish I could say I don't think about him a lot, but I do. You got to detach. Oh, one of her friends described as annoyed by the Washington Post when she told the comedian, you've got to detach, you've got to disconnect. The talk show host went on. She's not a talk show host. And that I know that it's a lot bigger than just him. That he's not smart enough to orchestrate a coup like this, but boy, did he participate. Okay. Mrs. Cow Donald, stupid Cow Donald. It was not a coup. It was a revelation, a revolution, and a complete and total reconnection with the body politic of the public at large. Where they said, you know what? We are tired of the status quo. We're tired of Democrats throwing these things in our faces, basically trying to rejigger the United States, make it something that it never ever was, spoil our livelihood, ruin our children's lives, and financially gut the country. That is not a coup. That is the population saying, enough of your guys doing what you do. That's it. That's it in a nutshell, folks. Basically, the politicians were doing such obvious. How do I say this without saying this without being completely off the mark and just way too pejorative? People got tired of politicians being thieving politicians. Okay, let's just phrase it like that, and that's being very genteel, generous, and kind. Yeah. So anyway, so the 63-year-old then brazenly claimed President Trump will end elections in the United States if something is not done by November 26th. He has never stated that. What he has said, tongue in cheek, just to tweak you guys, is go, I'm going to have a third term. You'll see. Just to really screw with you guys every single day. And I got to tell you, for 63, the woman is looking haggard. I mean, the years of her complete and total absorption upon the hate of another person, she's kind of gone like Senator Palpatine. I mean, bad. I mean, really bad. I've seen women who are like, older who look better than her. Yipes. And I guarantee you, she's probably sitting at home, commiserating, drinking, carrying on, being a completely unhappy person. And, well, welcome to the world of suck that you made for yourself. Oh, man. You cannot do it justice with these people, but dang, they just do it to themselves. Holy crap. Just holy crap. Wow. All right, folks, I'm going to break off of this one. If I don't see you before next year, which is only going to be in 2 more days or so, I truly wish to give you guys the most heartfelt wishes of a joyous new year, a good 2026, and I will see you next year. So anyway, appreciate you guys hanging with me on the good stuff like that on this day. With the last time I'm going to do it on 25. And wish you guys have a good one. You get a gold star for attendance. Well, actually, you get 2 gold stars. This was a special occasion for the last day of the year. Good stuff. Anyway, so truly appreciate your kind attention. You guys hanging with me. Get a good gold star for attendance. I will see you next time. Thank you much for your kind attention. You got many other things to do but decide to hang out with me. I will see you next year. And I'll catch you guys then. So eco contendering is always, you know what, you love it. Catch you guys next year. Have a good one and have a nice New Year's. See you guys.